welcome to the final edition of the first series of Edges of Facilitation. Maybe it's the last, who knows, but we are wrapping this up today. In this series, we are finding ways for facilitators to push themselves to their edges. This episode might be a little bit different to some of the other ones in the series because we are today comparing facilitation and facilitainment. And maybe we'll be talking a bit about how to push yourself on some of your technical edges as well. My guest is Said Saddouk. You might know him from LinkedIn as the Facilitainer. And he is the one who has taught me most of the things that I have been doing fancy video stuff with on previous editions of Edges of Facilitation. So, without further ado, welcome, Said. Welcome.
Hey, Lucy. Hey, Lucy. Thanks a lot for having me finally.
So we usually start, the first question that I usually ask is about the meaning of the word that we're comparing facilitation to. So I'm going to start straight in with, Said, what is facilitainment?
Yeah, that's funny because whatever I tell you is the right answer. I have the feeling I just came up with it. So it's not in the dictionary. It's hard to Google. So whatever my definition is the right one for the moment. And for me, it's a combination of the two words, facilitation and entertainment, and how to bring a little bit of fun and engagement into what we call facilitation.
So the way that we normally structure these conversations is we look at both topics from the lenses of mindset, toolset, skill set. I think they're very relevant to this topic as well, even though essentially we're not really comparing facilitation to facilitainment. This is kind of an extension of the toolkit that people can have as a facilitator. But maybe in the mindset category, I'm interested, what do you think holds people back from developing in this, from facilitating? Yeah, let's frame it like
that. So I think that maybe the misconception, like in general, if something is work, there is like no space for it to be fun. And I'm not talking about funny, I'm talking about fun, right? And this is like a general thing. Okay, this is work, we have to take this serious. I disagree. This is a mindset thing. I think if work is fun, the outcome is even better because people are not forced to do the things you ask them to do, or work on a goal together. If they enjoy what they are doing, if they enjoy the process to get to the outcome, I think the outcome is way more, way more creative, or people are way more invested in it. If it's rather than, okay, no, we have to do step A, B, C, and D, and then hopefully this session is over soon in 60 minutes, and then we have sticky notes on the wall. But again, there is no reason for anything we do to not be fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay, tool set and skill set, I think for your topic is particularly interesting. If somebody is super overwhelmed by all of the choices that they have, so beyond everybody having fun and like really understanding how you're using technology, I think there's maybe a couple of things. Like I've heard several times that if you have good audio, people think you're more intelligent. Is that true? You heard something similar to that?
So not the part about being more intelligent, but so there are studies. I don't know the numbers. We can Google them afterwards, but audio is more important than video in general. So if you're doing something in front of, especially we're talking about online, right? If you're doing something online and your camera is a little bit blurry maybe, or I don't know, they cannot read every single word on your slide because it's a little bit small, something like this. People will forgive you. They will still follow along because they can still hear you, right? Or hear you very clear. If your audio is broken, imagine you're listening to a podcast that was recorded, like, I don't know, in a loud environment, or you watch YouTube video, you watch it for 30 seconds and then you give up. It doesn't matter what they are showing. Your brain cannot follow along with the harsh audio or with the low quality. So it's way more important to, just like in person, if people cannot see you on stage, but they can hear you, I think that's okay. If they can see you, but they don't understand a single word, they can look as good as you want. It wouldn't make a huge difference. So regarding, like, again, what is one small thing I could do to like boost my presence online, which is maybe also part of this facilitainment like idea. See that you get a proper microphone, or you don't even need a proper microphone. Whatever you have, try to get the best out of that. It's not always an investment. Sometimes, okay, maybe it's a setting. Maybe, I don't know, how did I position my microphone? Where is it? Am I really talking in the thing that's picking up my voice? Or is it, I don't know, somewhere where it doesn't pick it up? It's small things that you can optimize like in 5 minutes, and you will see the difference, or you will hear the difference in this case already. I don't know if you sound more intelligent, but I think if people can hear what you're saying, then you definitely sound more intelligent than if they cannot hear it, if this is the point.
True.
So
that is true. I do think it's an interesting slippery slope, because I always heard this people saying, oh yeah, it's really important to have good audio, and I never really noticed it until I got myself a good microphone, and until I started listening to more podcasts. And then once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And now it's just incredibly painful for me to listen to podcasts that sound like they're crackly.
And this is also something like more in general. I like to tell people, I mean, show up as if you were paid to do this. Mm-hmm. And we are usually paid to do this, right? So if somebody pays me to, okay, let's do an online workshop, or people pay me for a training, so I don't want to sound like, hey, yeah, I put my earbuds in and here I am, and let's do this this class, or let's do this coaching. No, I want to look like I put effort into it, mm-hmm. and that I know what I'm doing. And it's small things that can make a huge difference, and people will notice it. The difference very, very quick, especially since we are not used to this. Mm-hmm. Most Zoom meetings or Microsoft Teams meetings or whatever, there's always like someone who, they don't wear headphones. There's a reason why you should wear headphones. We talked about this in the green room before. And they're having like one earbud in from their iPhone that is connected via Bluetooth or however, and it's very loud in the background. And they are still like presenting for 60 minutes or something. Okay, and then imagine you're sitting straight and you're having like this kind of decent microphone and look kind of okay on camera. People will notice a difference because we are not used to this. It's a small thing. Oh my God, this looks different than other facilitators or than other coaches, let alone adding more tools, mm-hmm. right? So fix your basics first.
Yeah, that seems like a good lesson to take. What are the most common things that facilitators come and ask for help with?
Often it's a general thing. Most people, at least that I work with, there is not a specific thing. So, oh, I want A, B, and C, but I want my workshops to be more engaging. Mm-hmm. It's just, I want a general vibe, right? Or they describe what they are doing right now, or at the moment I'm just doing Zoom and a little bit of whiteboarding, but I want them to be more memorable, more engaging, more, I don't know, more fun. So, or it's on the tech side, or I want to look more professional. And it's not about a certain thing again, like, oh, I want a certain camera, or no, just more the overall vibe of more engaging and looking more professional in general. And there are a lot of ways to get there. The looking professional part is, we covered this a little bit. Get your tech right, and then get yourself right. Is okay. Where do I sit? How do I sit? How do I light myself? And all the other which settings do I need to apply in my the things I already have, like my Zoom, etc. So small things. And when it comes to engagement, first of all, I assume you already know what you're doing. I mean, you have like the general skill set of a facilitator, because I personally will not teach you that. I just need you to have a certain skill set, and then how can we improve this in an online setup? Mm-hmm. And then, okay, which tools are there that you can use? And there are some of my favorites that I use to I don't know, how can I, small thing that we probably all use, how can I show a poll on my screen, right? It sounds, if you do this, or if you have already done this in the past, may sound boring to, yeah, okay, there's like Mentimeter or Slido or something, and people type in something. Yes, but still, because we are doing it all the time, for us it's boring. If you go into a corporate environment as a trainer or as a facilitator, where people are not used to this, where a workshop is a slideshow, and they just call it a workshop because that's how you call it, right? Then there are these small things that can already add a huge improvement of, oh my God, I can interact with this session, which is like the point of a whole workshop, right? And so these are small things, like tools that can add interaction, which creates engagement. So people don't fall asleep. If you ask me a question and you say, yeah, please type it in the chat, and then I ignore whatever you type in the chat. No, this is just a common phrase. You type in the chat, or if you have questions, type them in the chat, but I will never read them. Okay, what's the point of tricking me into writing something? This is just, I don't know, something you heard somewhere and now you're repeating it over and over again. But if you can actually capture what people share in the chat and show it on your display in a very basic way, that's already an improvement. And for me, if you want to go the next level, and okay, I can display it on your camera. It pops up like behind you or next to you. You can change the way it looks. You can make it like in a branded fashion that matches your style as a facilitator, if you're a freelancer, for example, or your client's style. Hey, everything I do will look like in your brand colors, will have your certain element that people will recognize, and not somebody from outside coming and trying to show us how work is done. Yeah, but again, if you haven't done any of these, start with the smallest possible tools that you can find. A lot of them are even free to use or free to try out at least. And then once you have done that and it's an improvement for you and you get like feedback or you see what works and what doesn't, and then comes, okay, how can I implement it even more into my overall setup? How can I have like a concrete storyline where it makes sense and not just randomly, okay, let's do a word cloud. It needs to make sense with your content, with the goals you try to achieve, with your audience, has to match the flow, etc. How can I improve what you are already doing? Yeah. I think that's the thing I like to help with. You are already a great facilitator, or since the pandemic, a lot of people were forced to do things online. And you never learned it. Okay, from now on, we do everything in Zoom. It was overnight, right? We all remember this. And you never had like, I don't know, a training or anything. You tried to figure out things and you found something that kind of makes sense to you or worked for you and you stick to it. But no, it's like 5 years. And if you're still doing it the same way you did it when you were forced, there is a lot of room for improvement and a lot of things to learn and to add to it, because just taking an in-person workshop and try to make the same thing online, it will not work. Right? It's just a different medium, it's a different environment. People are at home having their cameras off for some reason, which is okay, right? Or they are distracted by whatever is happening in their household, or they are on the road, or they have kids, delivery man. You never know, and you need to keep people's attention differently. If you're in the same room, I mean, nobody will just, I don't know, turn around, face the wall, and not participate. Usually they won't do it, but online it's very easy. Oh, I'm turn off even if my camera is on, I will read my emails while she's trying to do a workshop here. You don't know, so like finding like this small things to keep people's attention on the workshop and fight against all the other distraction that is maybe, oh, I need to finish a presentation for the boss, or I don't have time for this, etc. So yeah, that's where facilitainment comes in, making it enjoyable. So people want to be part of this. They don't want to miss it out. There's always something happening on screen. And, oh, if I look away for too long, I will maybe miss it. Or there are these small interactions. Yeah, I need to pay attention so I can also participate in this. So yeah.
So I used to find it really difficult when people had their cameras off. And I would interpret it as a sign that I was doing something wrong. And I now actually don't worry about it quite as much. I think there are other ways that people can engage. But it sounds like your strategy is basically to just like make sure that there's always something where they need to be paying attention to something, even if their cameras are off. Like, what advice do you generally give?
Or want to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe it's something. Okay, I want to see this. I want to see the next thing that's happening. The camera off thing is it's a never ending story. I'm okay. I mean, if you want to keep your camera off, I still find it like kind of weird compared to, I mean, if you do an in-person workshop and there is someone sitting like with a bag on their head so that you don't see their face, I think we would address this, right? And nobody would think, oh no, I don't want to be seen. I hide behind the wall while someone is like facilitating a workshop. But somehow, when it's online, it's okay for everyone. Oh no, I don't need to really be part of it. It's good. It's good enough if I pop up like every once in a while, or if I don't participate at all. So first of all, there is that, and then if you give people a reason to turn their camera on. I mean, asking them, sometimes it helps. So just a little reminder. I use humor a lot if you tell people, or if I tell people, would appreciate if you turn on your camera so I don't feel like I'm hosting a podcast or having like a self-talk or something. Okay, then some people are, okay, let me turn my camera on, have nothing to hide. However, there are also like other ways to, why should I turn it on? I mean, what's the purpose of you seeing me? And if I know our friend Jan Keck, for example, he does a really, really great job with that and has some activities that I cannot all recall, but has some activities on how to get people on camera if you do like an ice melter, how he would call them, that involves the camera. Or you ask people to, okay, raise your hand if my camera is off, then my vote doesn't count. And maybe I want my voice to be kind of heard, and this is the only way to communicate or show something, whatever the activity is, right? It's just an example. Show whatever it is, matching the topic into the camera, or write something on a sticky note, so not digital. And then, okay, let's all show it. Something like this. And this is, it makes sense for me because it's part of the concept, and not just somebody asking me to turn on your camera, and then again, the part about, and then he or she will ignore me. It doesn't matter if my camera is on or off. It doesn't make any difference for the outcome of this workshop, right? If this every once in a while, like a small thing, and I notice even if people turn off the camera like in the middle, that's fine. I mean, I have to deal with something, or I have a bad hair day, or whatever. I'm fine with that. But you will see cameras popping on again when you do something like this. And for myself, I even put people's faces on my camera. This is like, again, a tool where I can just capture people, the whole Zoom gallery, and have it somewhere beside me. So if you watch it, you can see yourself like on cam, which is like an odd thing again, but it's surprising. Oh my God, why is my face there? I don't get it. How does this work? And then you see people's cameras popping on because they also want to be on the stage or want to be part of it or want to try it out. So it's not tricking people into it, but again, give me a reason why you want me to be on camera. Otherwise, I wouldn't turn on my camera, to be honest. I can just listen in podcast mode, and I will fold my laundry while you are presenting your PowerPoint.
Those are excellent tips. I've learned so much about things that are possible from you. Okay, so for the final section, I thought it might be interesting to talk through the kind of journey that I've been on this year, because when we started working together, so I went to Said for help with this podcast because I knew that I was going to start doing this podcast, and I was like, I should probably get some recommendations for how to set stuff up. And when we started, I had a computer and I had some headphones. I didn't have anything else. I didn't have an external mic. I didn't have an external screen. I didn't have anything else. We can talk about some of the other things that I have now, because I do think that there's some very interesting engagement things that become possible with certain types of tools. But yeah, like for me, it wasn't really about being more professional. It was about getting started. I was just overwhelmed. Like I was really overwhelmed, and I was like, I don't want my podcast to sound like it's recorded on a potato. and look like it's recorded on a potato. And also, I want it to be kind of an interesting experience for my podcast guests, that they see that some other things are possible and we're not just recording it on Zoom. And then through the process, we've ended up now I have quite a tech setup, and I have microphones, a screen, a Stream Deck, which, if anybody who doesn't know what a Stream Deck is, it's basically a nice little gadget that will allow you to change. Oh, there we go. Said will show you. Said, what's a Stream Deck?
Yeah. So, first of all, so I don't think I convinced you.
You didn't convince me. That's true. This is not. That's not what I'm implying.
No. I got that. My point here is, I think maybe you saw the value in the things that you didn't know about before. Mm-hmm. You don't know what you don't know. For me, it's the same. And you, if you look at other people, or you, I don't know, watch videos online or however, they all these YouTubers or all these podcasters, they have like this full suite. I need everything, and then I am a great podcaster or a great facilitator. Or that's not how it works. So just, you said this in the very beginning, just adding more tools and tech to your setup will not solve the problem, right? It's more about doing it intentionally. I think you just saw the value in certain small things, and you picked things that made sense for you, and you don't have to have the same setup as I have, because you're not doing the same things. I teach tech and stuff, so of course I have more in my studio just to know what I'm talking about, just to play around, just to experiment. But I think you talked about the microphone. Yes, I think that this was one of the very first things you added to your setup, and you already mentioned the huge difference it made. Having a second screen makes a huge difference, especially if you're overwhelmed. So, oh my God, I'm adding even more tech. It's kind of, I don't know, paradox. So if I add more tech, it will be even more overwhelming, right? So I have more things. I think it's the other way around. If you have, like, for example, with a screen, I have a second screen. Okay, I have my mirror board on one screen, and I have my notes, and I have my, I don't know, whatever it is on the other screen. It helps you to focus on actually delivering your workshop, and not, okay, where are my notes again? And then you get nervous in the middle of the thing. I cannot see the people anymore. Let me, and every time you or yourself have to do something that's like tech-based, I have to find this one window, because it takes you like 30 seconds to find it, and people will tune out in this 30 seconds. You give people 30 seconds to check their mail, and you know how hard it is to get people back on track or back on focus once they are distracted by something. And we talked about lights. This is obvious now that you have like kind of professional lights. It doesn't have to be the most expensive one. It's just about having proper lighting, so you look kind of okay and not just like a shadow in the background. A teleprompter is not a must, but I'm using one, you are using one, and we're looking each other in the face for, I don't know how long this podcast went. You will see the difference when you watch it. Otherwise, if it wouldn't have one, I would look like this the whole time, or like this, because I'm trying to find your face in the Zoom gallery, right? It makes a huge difference of how I connect with my audience if I can look at them the whole time. And again, this is one of my favorite tools. It looks super geeky, but every time I give one of my trainings, it's a Elgato Stream Deck. It has buttons that can do certain things. And it's just switching between camera views, I control my audio with it. I open a tool or an app that I have installed, just small things, or I can copy and paste a text really quick that I share in the chat. So again, I don't have to ramble around. Where is my notes? Which one did I want to copy again into the chat? What are the breakout instructions? I have them prepared, and all I know is I press certain buttons. Everything takes a little bit of setup, but I think once you have done that, you will be very happy, and you see the difference between that and I'm just on a notebook in my kitchen. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to do the best. If this is all you have, or all you can do, or your circumstances allow, that's awesome. That's fine. If you have the chance and the budget, and it's not a lot. I highly recommend investing in some basics that will immediately make a difference, not just for the audience, but for you, and your audience will feel it, or your participants will see the difference if you are more relaxed, or if you are more confident and more better prepared, and you know where everything is.
I think that's a really, like, just listening to that reminded me actually how much I've learned this year, which is probably a good note to wrap this up on, because I've just realized that I was even stressing about things like screen sharing, because screen sharing is actually surprisingly hard. Like, you're juggling lots of different things. It's the constant question, can you see my screen? I don't really ask that anymore because I can see exactly what they can see. So I think my main learnings this year were, like simplifying screen sharing, the text snippets thing that you just mentioned. So having a button that I could just press to copy and paste a load of stuff really easily. And then I think we should give a bit more love to the teleprompter, because it probably doesn't make any sense that Said and I are talking about a teleprompter. But basically, if you've never seen a teleprompter, which I hadn't before we started doing this series, and Said told me that an excellent way to make eye contact with people is to buy a teleprompter, and then you're basically looking at a screen through you're looking through a screen at a camera, and it just makes a whole level of connection to the people on the other side. And that would never have occurred to me if it had not been for a conversation with Said. Thank you, Said. I think that's a year well spent. It's only 6 months, actually. I think we started this about 6 months ago.
Thanks a lot for having me. Although this, of course, is not like one of your, but you said this in the intro, not one of your typical episodes where it's let's compare A to B, but still, I think, it's more of a subset of facilitation rather than something that you can compare it with, right? This is just something you can add to your facilitation toolkit. Thanks for having me as a guest. Very well done.
Thank you very much. If you had one final thing that you would like people to take away from this episode, what would it be?
Start small. Just be 1% better than whatever you did yesterday, and work your way towards something that's bigger. And once you understand how things work, you will find the joy in it, and you want to do more of it.
Yeah, I can attest to that. That is the case in my instance. Said, where can people find you online? Where should I send them?
I'm always happy to connect with people on LinkedIn. That's where I spend most of the time and where I share most of the content, and also about all the geeky things we talked today. So join me there and connect with me if you like.
That sounds brilliant. I can confirm that Said makes LinkedIn a much less grey place. A lot less grey and corporate, with positive waterfall of memes and delightful content about the world of facilitation and how bonkers some of the stuff that we do is. Thank you, Said. I have loved having you on, and thank you for all of your help.
Thank you.